Mackenzie Carson finding the space and getting through for the score. Her second. She's certainly going to remember that score. Abby Burton opening the account for Trailfinders.
England's runners Talling the next cab off, just holds on. Morwenna Talling's got 5 on the board for England.
Being from Yorkshire's massive. My dad's also from Cornwall and he won't let me not say that I'm from Cornwall as well. So, but yeah, I think just having that northern grit about me is something that I think I like treasure and really try to put into my game. You're listening to the England Rugby Podcast, O2 Inside Line. I'm Morwenna Talling. I'm Morwenna Talling and I play for Sale Sharks and England. I play second row / back row, so kind of the back of the scrum. I think as a second row, it's kind of you're in the engine room, so providing power to the front row in the scrum, but also kind of having that lots of work rate around the pitch and kind of doing the hard graft. I think also leadership's a big part of that in terms of calling line outs and kind of just taking a bigger role in terms of what we do up the pitch. I think for a back row, kind of that work rate is massive. The ability to just keep going, keep putting big tackles in and carry hard is probably the main characteristics. I think our captain, Zoe Oldcroft, is probably the biggest kind of inspiration for me in terms of we're very similar positions. And yeah, just her work rate around the pitch is phenomenal and everything she does is world class. I think I was quite quiet as a kid, but I kind of got stuck into everything. So whether that was in school or I started swimming, I started doing football, so doing lots of different things until I found rugby. So I grew up kind of North Yorkshire, half an hour north of York, with my parents and my mum and dad, and then 2 brothers. So one younger, Morgan, and one older, who's Rory. We're a big rugby family, sporty family as well. Both brothers kind of involved in a lot of sports as we were growing up, and it's just a lot of countryside, not many towns, like all the towns are quite small, kind of market towns. We had quite a big back garden, so we had like a wall at the back of the garden that we like drew a football goal on, and yeah, we'd spend hours just kicking the ball against that. I think just kind of that outdoor aspect was quite big, like we had dogs and cats and stuff like that as well, so that kept us outside. Me and my older brother did quite a lot of mountain biking. Dalby Forest is near Pickering, so we went there quite a lot just to kind of be outside and enjoy the outdoors really. Yeah, I think it was like really good as we were growing up because we kind of all liked the same things. As we've grown older, gone our separate ways a little bit, but that pull of always being together when we were younger is still quite strong. My young brother's doing rugby down in Exeter and that's what he wants to do as well, so a bit of sibling rivalry there, but I've always had a good connection with them and still connecting with them even now. Rugby's always played a massive part of my life. I think my mum played it when she was at uni. My dad also kind of played as he was growing up. And so my dad's from down in Cornwall and one of my cousins, Martin, used to play for like Plymouth Albion. And so like he had quite a big impact on me in terms of we were quite close when I was younger. I think I just looked up to him quite a bit. My older brother played rugby and then my younger brother also plays rugby. So it's kind of ingrained in our family that we were going to end up probably playing rugby. So I first started when I was 12. As soon as I went to that first training session, I just loved it. I don't know what it was, but I felt something and I was like, okay, I might be quite good at this. And I think that aspiration to be kind of one of the best at whatever I end up doing was quite a big thing for me. And I obviously thought I was going to do quite well in rugby. So I think that also pushed me on to stay in that sport. I was always taller and probably a bit bigger built than a lot of the other girls. And like in netball, I was always like a defender and getting in people's faces. So I think kind of that physical aspect of it, I found the tackling and contact bit of it quite easy and something that I really enjoyed. And obviously that's a big part of the game. When I started at 10. I think probably just because I'd played football before and it kind of transferred into playing rugby and being that 10 like playmaker. As I got a bit older and like there was other girls in kind of the county that could fill that 10 shirt, I kind of transitioned to kind of second row, back row just because of my height. Kicking's always something that I've really enjoyed. And I think it's a skill that anyone can have in the game. You see it nowadays. All the girls are kicking. Amy Cockayne, for one, is really good at it. And yeah, it's just like an added layer to the game, which I still really enjoy doing. Malton and Norton Rugby Club's kind of where I started, and it's a big community. A first team, second team men's, they've got all the women's sides, they've got juniors as well. So I think it was really nice that on Sundays when we used to go down to watch my brother and stuff, it was always very much everyone would come, everyone would then go inside for like food after matches. Malton's not a massive kind of town, and I think it definitely is like a place where people can come and just be themselves, go out on the pitch or watch like their family and friends doing what they love. It was a great community that pushed me to get better because I knew they all supported me. The people who were coaching me, the people who were around, all the parents of all the girls just wanted the best for everyone, which really helped in terms of when you went to like Yorkshire and stuff like that, you always had the backing of quite a few families that just wanted you to do well. And that continues now. Malton's still a very big part of why I'm trying to do my best and kind of get to the top. I never forget where I've come from, and that's quite big in terms of pushing me to keep going.
My name's Ian Hepworth. I was the head of girls rugby at Malton and Norton. We had a launch event in 2014, and Morwenna was one of the 40-odd players that turned up and created a girls section. Morwenna, when she first started, she was very quiet, quite shy, I think, but very thoughtful. And with anything sort of complicated or technical, you only had to tell her once, and she got it. The previous England head coach, Simon Middleton, was once quoted as basically saying that if he had a team full of Morwennas, his job would be so much easier. And that's, a real testimony to Morwenna, just the fact that she's kind of so coachable and just gets on with it. And she plays rugby with a smile on her face, and that's great to see. Some players, they'd almost show off a little bit, but she didn't need to do that because I think she knew she was capable, but she wasn't cocky with it. She was just like, yeah, I can do that. That's self-assurance, I suppose. Sometimes you have to kind of take a little step back and just think about what you've done. I take a very small part of credit for it, but there is someone playing international rugby because she jumped to that opportunity that I put in front of her. I'm exceptionally proud of where she's gone with it. I sometimes forget that it's Morwenna playing for England and Morwenna sort of hiding at the back of the group photo on the launch night. It is the same person. It's just so good to see her at literally the top of the game.
Ian Hepworth, he just wants the best for the girls that he's coaching / kind of in charge of, and just that energy that he brought to kind of kickstart everything and make sure that everyone was happy with what they were doing. And I think he just made it more of a family, and yeah, definitely still is involved in Malton now. And I think everyone's very happy that he's there, and because he's a big part of that community. So from Malton, I moved to West Park Leeds. It was a change that was kind of needed just because of accessibility, and as we got into the older age groups, the numbers kind of went down a bit, which is a shame, and I don't think it happens as much now. But when I was younger, it definitely kind of had an effect and made me have to make that decision to move, which wasn't easy because I started playing at Malta and kind of wanted to carry on that way. Like West Park Leeds was a great club, all the coaches were great. Just being a bigger club meant there was a few more opportunities to play different teams week in and week out, probably a few harder teams as well. I think it also very much felt like a family there, which was nice because I think that's kind of a big part of what I look for in a team, is quite like a family orientated kind of very big community. It's definitely unique in terms of you kind of probably get it in every different club. And I also think it's definitely a big part of rugby. Like you say that rugby's for everyone, and it genuinely is. You can come from whatever background, whatever upbringing, and you'll kind of fit in, which is something you don't get everywhere. Being from Yorkshire's massive. My dad's also from Cornwall, and he won't let me not say that I'm from Cornwall as well. So, but yeah, I think just having that northern grit about me is something that I think I treasure and really try to put into my game. I think personality wise, I'm quite quiet, but then I think just being from the north, I don't know, you're unique in like whichever way you are. So I just love being from the north and really want to just fly the flag for kind of the Northern Rugby, which is a massive part of who I am and what I want to kind of go show. There is quite a big divide between the north and the south. I think ultimately it's kind of down to money, and a lot of the money in the women's game especially is probably down further south. And it's a shame that kind of it's not more equally distributed, but I think it's been recognised now at Sale Sharks especially. Like, we're doing quite a lot to show that Northern Rugby does matter, and kind of that's a big motto of ours. It's also exciting because we've got games like Italy in the Six Nations is up in York, so kind of that accessibility for girls to come and see us and play is still high, and I think we're still going after that, which is really good. And I think in years to come it's only going to distribute evenly across the country. So I was at Loughborough. That's kind of where I started my professional rugby career. So I'd spent quite a few years there, and I just felt like it was time for a bit of change, and Sale stood out to me when I went up there and talked to Michelle and talked to Georgie, their club captain. That really stood out. Just family-driven community was really important, and it made me look at it and be like, I can enjoy this place as well as playing rugby, but I also just wanted to enjoy rugby and have fun and stuff like that. So I think that was a big drive to go back up north. They needed someone to go up and to be better and to be more competitive in the league, I'd say. Like, hopefully that's kind of done something and kickstarted something that we can then go forward into the next few seasons. There is a bit of sense of responsibility being one of the Red Roses that are there, me alongside Tatisha Harper, who's been capped. Yes, it's a big responsibility, but it's something that I think I take ownership of and kind of just really not pay attention to it, but do what I feel like's right. And when I feel like I'm doing stuff right, I'm playing well, I'm helping the squads in like off-pitch stuff, then that's all just going to get better. You see from kind of North Yorkshire and Yorkshire as a whole, you've got Zoe Oldcroft, you've got Tatiana, you've got Ellie Kildun and myself. So like it's 4 out of the squad that are literally from the same square on the map, which is huge. It shows that people can be born and bred in the north and be kind of that amazing kind of rugby player and athlete, especially as like Ellie and Zoe have both won World Pro of the Year. So it's kind of like it can happen, and I think that should be a thing that young girls up kind of in the north and boys as well, you don't have to be from the south, you don't have to be from anywhere else. But I think that bit in terms of still that split, I think you see it in terms of all like Zoe, Tat and Ellie have all gone to the south to kind of further their career. And I mean, me included as well, I left to the Midlands in Loughborough. So I think that's probably the hard bit, is kind of getting that pathway right up in the north, because we've got so much talent. Even at Sale, there's quite a few homegrown players there that, given the right pathway and given the right accessibility and to games and matches and training, you could probably get a whole lot more. So I left home at 16 to go do rugby at Loughborough College. You couldn't play in the Prem team until you're 17, so I'm quite a late birthday in August, so I kind of had to wait a whole year. But yeah, it's kind of as soon as I got my opportunity, I probably just took it. So I played 3 games for the development team with Loughborough, and then started against Saracens, which wasn't an easy game to start. It was at home. I remember it was a hard match. I think in the meetings afterwards, Brad Jones, one of our assistant coaches, said I'd made like 32 tackles, and that was my first kind of Prem game. So that was kind of crazy, and I didn't know at the time, but Simon Middleton was there watching, the England head coach, with Richard Blaze, who was the forward coach at the time as well. Basically, he was kind of just watching the game, and he was stood behind my dad, I think, and my dad had no idea who he was at the time and was just kind of being a dad. And Mids was kind of just like, oh, who's that? Like, she looks really good. And my dad turned around and was kind of just like, yeah, that's my daughter. And they got a bit talking. Dad still had no idea who it was until my mum was next to him. And kind of when mids left, my mum was like, do you know who that was? And he was like, no. And she was like, yeah, that was Simon Middleton. He was like, oh, that's good. Like, kind of thing. So yeah, that was really nice. A wholesome start to kind of how it all happened. So that was in, well, it'd been like September, October time. And then December, I remember I was in a lecture in college and Blazy rang my phone. So I went outside, answered it. And he was like, we'd love for you to come into camp in the January. And so yeah, so it was all very quick and bit of a whirlwind, but just to be involved in the environment from so young, it was exciting. Obviously a challenge, but I think I took to it really well and I wouldn't have it other way. And it probably put me in good stead to where I'm at now. Just being surrounded by world-class players was incredible. Like, it's not something that I thought would ever happen that quickly. And yeah, just to be in camp, training with them and just getting to know them as people as well was really cool.
England almost at the line. Surely this must be try number 5.
And that's Talling gone over for her try.
First touch of the game. How about that for an impact?
I'm Mackenzie Carson. I play for Gloucester Harbury and the Red Roses.
Morwenna Talling, it's so funny. I don't ever call her that. I feel like I only ever call her Moz. But yeah, I would just say she's a grafter. Like, she just puts her head down. She always gets to work and she's just super kind and lovely off the pitch.
My name's Abby Burton and I play for Trailfinders Women and for the Red Roses. So I would describe Moz Talling on the pitch as workhorse. That would be the main one that I would probably say. And off the pitch, I would describe her as like a really good friend. She's a good egg. That's what I would describe her as.
England's runners telling the next cab off, just holds on. Morwenna Talling's got 5 on the board for England.
My mum coached me when I was at Malton for quite a bit and was just there as kind of an extra body, just someone who knew rugby because she'd played it when she was younger and kind of was just helping out in terms of there probably wasn't coaches every week that could come and help us. So it was just something that she did out of the goodness of her heart, which is, you don't get many people that do that and give that much kind of time to it. But she's always been kind of one of those people that just want everyone to do their best and have fun with it. Even when I left for West Park Leeds, she coached my younger brother through his junior career. Just her energy that she gives, and it's nice to see her, even though she didn't get to play that much, she still got that enjoyment out of coaching and passing on some knowledge and she'd always come to me being like, oh, like, what drills can we do? What drills can we do here? And like, how do I get the boys to do this and stuff like that? So it was nice to see her using me and my knowledge as well. When she coached me, obviously I was kind of new to the sport. I obviously had that respect for her as my mum, but then I also had that respect that she did know what she was talking about, so I did have to listen. She was just very supportive and wanted me to be the best. I don't think she was very harsh on me at all, but just having someone there you know that you're going back home with, and she could like ask questions, oh, did you work hard enough and stuff like that. I think that pushed me to just want to be the best and kind of work hard in every session, because I knew I'd get questions at home if I didn't. So
My name is Janet Talling and I'm the mother of Morwenna Talling. Since she was probably a baby in arms, was always active, always trying to keep up with her bigger brother. I think she's somebody who's quite self-reliant. She's quite quiet, but if you are her friend, then you know that you're her true friend. When she was younger, that how we recognized that sport was so important to her was, I think it was during the Beijing Olympics when she saw Becky Adlington win a gold medal. She was like, this is fantastic that women can achieve so much through sport. But she set herself a goal, and I think she was only about 6 at the time, of representing England at a sport. And that has been her driving kind of belief from such an early age. Being able to be a role model for other girls in the north of England is something that she has really taken to heart and she's really passionate about. So when I was coaching Morwenna, I think it was the first competitive match that she'd been in. Somebody, probably by mistake, stood on her face or she got studs in the face. She was really shocked because it really hurt, and she came off the pitch. And after 5 minutes, she went back on the pitch and she scored 2 tries. And that was the kind of like point where she was like, yes, this is for me. I think with rugby, what Morwenna has done is found an outlet and somewhere where she's able to really shine. And she's always had that drive to get there, and it's that hard work. And I'm so pleased that it's paid off for her. The thing that makes me most proud of Morwenna is that she has developed into such a strong and kind role model for other girls.
It hasn't been easy with injuries. I've had quite a few that have kept me out. Like my first big one was my ACL, which I did, I think it was February 21. And I'd only just got my 3 first England caps in November 2020, very soon after the kind of that whirlwind of getting so high and getting to that point which I dreamed of, getting my first cap, get my second, get my third. My ACL kind of pushed that back down and went back into a dip. Injuries always take a toll, and it was a very hard time. I had a few setbacks in that as well, which made it a bit longer than what I originally planned for. 574 days is obviously a long time, and it's a lot of time to think about everything. But yeah, it's also time to grow as a person as well away from rugby. And I think I did that a lot. Like I was still at uni at that point, and it gave me something to look forward in terms of that. And yeah, I think it just let me put my attention into something else rather than just trying to get better at rugby, which is probably almost on my mind every day. So when I got back, it was only the start of pre-season, so I couldn't actually play a game of rugby until it was like August time. So it was an extra few months. It was hard, but I think the people around me, like friends, family especially, got me through it and made me realise that there's more to life than just rugby, which I think has gone on to help me in the injuries that I've had since. I've done my ankle, had surgery with that. I struggled with shoulder injuries this year. I think every time I have to probably look at it in terms of you can get through this, and like you've done it before, you've got to a point where you're back on the pitch and you're playing the best rugby. And I think every time I've come out of an injury, I've always been better than I was before. And I think that's something that I now realise that I need to take forward into the rest of my career, that things happen and you get injured. It's more to that. And if you work hard enough, you always come out better the other side. Leadership is something that I've tried to work on. I think I am a natural leader, but only as a lead by example. And I think I've tried to branch out and try find different ways to lead that appeal to different people. This season, I've had the opportunity to captain Sale a number of times, which I love doing because I love the team and I love the group that we have. And they definitely all want to work hard and they all are passionate about playing, which is something that's nice as a leader because you kind of know that the team wants to do well and really has your back in everything. And yeah, I think being injured, especially, you can work on different things, and that leadership aspect is definitely something that I've worked on, especially coming to Sale with Rachel Taylor, our head coach. She helped me in that aspect. She was a class player and has that experience, and I think she's pushed me to lead more and just have a bit more, like, I am experienced in that team, and even though I'm still young, like, I've still got so much to give people and so much information and help and stuff that people can take. I think I find leadership hard when things are going wrong, but not all the time, especially this season with Sale. Things have gone wrong. I do find that hard, but then it's a lot easier when you've got the players around you and the other leaders on the pitch that help pick you up and help you along that. And yeah, that's definitely helped. Even though I say it's hard, like, it has been made a lot easier with the help of other people, with the coaches and stuff like that. So yeah, and probably just speaking in front of people. I'm still in uni now, so I've still got that to focus on. So that's a nice switch off, going away from rugby, and it's going into something that I enjoy reading and learning about in terms of geography. I think kind of linked with that and my childhood, like just that outdoor and walking is a big part of how I switch off. I love just getting out into the countryside and like walking, and it seems weird to some people, but just going alone just for a walk up a mountain, I love it. And I think like it just lets me switch off from everything. The only thing I have to worry about is whether I'm going the right way, so that's a good thing. And you don't have to look back, you don't have to look forward, you can just be where your feet are, and that's how it is. So. Coming up next on the England Rugby Podcast, O2 Inside Line.
There was a bit touch and go. I kind of went back into a Canada camp and for me, it just didn't really feel right. Like I think time had passed and I was like, oh, maybe this isn't really like my dream or really aligns with me. I thought it was maybe my dream, but I actually don't probably fit into this environment.